All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, more commonly known as CACRAO, and our partner StriveScan. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available in about a week for you to view at the same website, CACRAO.org. And thank you so much, our representatives from Hollins University. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Danielle Sawyer with Hollins Admissions. I recently graduated from Hollins in 2019, so I'm super excited to share with you all things Hollins today, and I have my colleague Madeline with me that's going to help me with questions.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Madeline Aliff. I'm the Director of Recruitment here at Hollins. I'm going to help with the Q&A. So as you already heard, feel free to ask all your questions. If it's a private question, I'll be sure to, if we can't get to it, we'll be sure to answer them afterwards as well. So looking forward to talking with you guys.
So just some quick facts about Hollins. So we are a smaller liberal arts university located in Roanoke, Virginia. So depending on where you are in North Carolina, it definitely depends on drive time. So our average class size is about 11. So what's great about that is I feel like that's definitely for students that are interested kind of in more creative writing, but typically for our STEM classes, they are on the larger side. And then as you get further into your discipline, they are smaller. What's great about these small class sizes is that there's a student to faculty ratio of 9:1. So that really helps students to gain those relationships that actually foster throughout their 4 years and also have an opportunity to, after their 4 years, have a really fruitful graduate applications or anything like that. Historically, we are a creative writing university, but our top majors are English, biology, business, psychology, and art. We do offer 28 majors, and so if there's anything that you're interested in and have any questions about that, please feel free to ask later. We also have 8 Division III athletic sports. This includes an equestrian team. We love our student athletes. Definitely with Division III, you are more of a student athlete basis, so you still have a lot of time to do academics, but also have time to craft your sport. So what's great about being located in Roanoke is we do have a very diverse community. So on our Hollins campus, we have 34% of our students are students of color, as well as and/or Hispanic and Latinx. What's great is we do represent 44 states and 20 countries. So as always, when you're located kind of in a certain state, we do have a larger population of Virginians at 53%. But I would feel like the next 2 states that are most popular is North Carolina and Maryland. So that's really great because we enjoy all of our students from everywhere. So something that Hollins loves to kind of pride themselves on is experiential learning. So we have a whole center called the Rutherford Center that's dedicated to these particular things. That's study abroad, individual research, internships, Baton Leadership Institute, as well as community engagement. What's great about all these experiences is you can cross-list them and do them at the same time. So as you can see in this slide, we have some of our students who are partaking in our January term experience in St. John, which is in the Virgin Islands. So they get to do that study abroad experience as well as research. We have great internships. We have local hubs in Roanoke as well as more Washington, D.C. and New York City internships. And so our Career Center definitely helps you get your best foot forward in that career process. And in the Baton Leadership Institute, we really feel like we want to strengthen our women so that they can be strong leaders on campus and off. And always, because we love to give back to our community, there's a lot of students that are very active on campus, but also are active in the Roanoke community with community service as well as jobs. So something to really think about in going to a liberal arts education is we really at Hollins have a commitment for career preparedness that runs deep. So 3 out of the 4 of our students actually complete an internship before graduation. Typically our students in their freshman year start in Roanoke, and then from sophomore year on, they get to do some of those internships I talked about that are in New York or DC or in other areas. What's great is you can complete more than one. So 50% of our students actually complete more than one internship. There's definitely an opportunity to complete 4 if that's what you're interested in. What's great is with these internships, it actually gives us a great success rate of 95% of our class of 2018 that were either in graduate school or employed within 1 year after graduation, which is really awesome because definitely you want to have a great 4 years, but actually graduate and have a fruitful experience afterward. So along with that, at Hollins, 95% of our students actually graduate within 4 years. This is really great for our students because with a liberal arts education, you still have time to change your major or still do outside experiences like the experiential learning. You still have an opportunity to finish with all your scholarships and financial aid. A lot of students ask, why a women's college experience? And actually, it's been known that women's college alumni report feeling more prepared for their first job and career changes and career advancements. We can't say that we can prepare you for all the bumps, but we definitely can give you the tools that will be helpful. So just to talk a little bit more about that women's college experience, it's more highly effective than all other colleges and universities in helping you discover your voice, defining your goals and actually building a plan to achieve your aspiration. So this really goes back to that low student to faculty ratio. It really just helps that you have faculty that are always in your corner. So kind of switching our focus to the application process, the first step is definitely to submit your application for admission. We do have our own application on our website at hollins.edu, but we also are on the Common App. We do ask that you send in your transcript. It can be unofficial for our admission purposes. This year we are test optional, so if you have already taken the SAT or ACT and you're really excited about your scores, please feel free to share them. But if you're not comfortable, then that's completely up to you. The last thing that we do ask is that we request that you have a secondary school report, which is usually completed by a school counselor or a letter of recommendation of someone who truly knows you best. So definitely when you're looking at the college application process, you'll see a lot of these 3 terms as they kind of float around when you're looking at applications. So there's early decision, early action, and regular decision. There's a lot of confusion in regards to early decision and early action. Both obviously have high interest, except that early decision is a binding contract, which means that you are completely committed to that school and that you aren't looking at any other school at that time. Early action is for the student that still has high interest, but still wants to keep their options open. And then regular decision is just for students that maybe want to look to see if they have better first semester grades in their senior year, or just want to get all of their ducks in a row a little bit later. So also something to be super important about is financial aid. So to the left, we do have merit aid and scholarships, and to the right, we have financial aid. When you're thinking about merit aid and scholarships, you're really thinking about, academics, GPA. With Hollins, we do give you that in your decision. So that's kind of your first scholarship that you will get. We also have various scholarships that you can apply to, as well as our visit grant. So there's definitely a lot of different things that you can get with scholarships. We always call it the free money. So this isn't the money that you have to pay back. With financial aid, on that side is usually we talk about FAFSA. So that's our free application for federal student aid. So that kind of goes into our Pell Grants and stuff like that. But it also aligns with loans, particularly subsidized or unsubsidized. So when looking at things, definitely make sure that you know the differentiations. So we're definitely committed to affordability. So scholarship guarantee is at least $24,000 in grants and scholarships annually to our first year students. In 2019, we actually had our first incoming freshman class that actually had 100% scholarships and financial aid. So we really try to make sure that that isn't the deciding factor in letting you know if you want to come to Hollins or not. Other people thought that we were doing a good job as well. So we were actually ranked number 21 among other universities as a college that's offering the best education for quality at best price. So it's always good to have a great 4 years, fun and exciting, but it's also great to have an amazing education at the same time. So just to talk a little bit more about our accolades. So we were in the Princeton Review, we were ranked number 14 as most politically active campus. I love to say that our Holland students love to have discussion. So we really don't try to align with anything. We just let students have their voice on campus. What's great, again, we have our number 5 best alumni network. So those alumni are super supportive in every word of the sense. So you have our internships, they're usually sponsors, as well as really just mentors for our students. Something that's really popular on our campus is Student Government Association. So we're actually number 16 is most active student government. Definitely a lot of things on campus are student-led, as well as a number 19 best college theater. And another thing, just to kind of circle back to our internships, we are among the nation's top 25 best schools for internships. So it's really good to get that experience beforehand before you graduate into the real world. So definitely, even though you're joining us today, we would love to have you for a virtual visit. So we definitely have more broader senses of an admission overview, but we also have college prep workshops that can help you on your college essay, as well as looking for scholarships or how to try to find college being more effective and more affordable for you. And so that concludes our presentation for today. So please contact us. That's our general telephone number, as well as our email. We have a lot of great content on our Instagram, and as you can see with the other platforms, and we have a lot of great videos on our YouTube. So now I'll open it up for questions.
Yes, please ask your questions. We'd love to hear from you. As Danielle mentioned, she is a recent grad. So Danielle, I wanted to actually kind of prompt you on some of your experiences at Hollins. I know that you were an SGA and BSA and ETP. You guys will learn that Hollins has a lot of acronyms, which probably mean nothing to you right now. So I'd love, Danielle, if you might elaborate or on CCEP, again, another acronym. We kind of talk about some of your experiences and some of your favorite aspects of Hollins, and then hopefully we'll get some questions too.
Yeah, of course. So definitely, as Madeline was saying, once you start at Hollins, you try to get your feet wet, but by the time you graduate, you are involved in a lot of different things. So with CCE, that is our organization for college students, our students of color. So it is a mentorship program. So you come in as a first year as a mentee, and you do have upperclassmen as mentors. And so they really lead you through every process. They're even as study buddies or even as someone just to talk to you. So there's just a really great experience that students love to be a part of. BSA is also a really great resource for students of color, particularly for our Black students. It is the Black Student Alliance. So it really just, we do a lot of great opportunities. In the past, pre-COVID, we had a lot of great field trips. We went to the National African American Museum in Washington, D.C. So it's really great that Hollins does give a lot of support to these groups, but also gives us an opportunity to kind of do special things. Again, and then I guess the last thing would be student government. So really what's nice about student government at Hollins is there's a lot of different ways that you can be involved. You can either be involved in a big way with our executive cabinet, which we call our roundtable, or you could be in smaller instances in a club, or even a student senator, which helps with our students' kind of governing body. It's really important for our students to kind of have a voice in day-to-day life at Hollins. So it's really just a great opportunity for our students to have just staying involved. And there's over 20 different clubs. So those are only a few. So definitely there's something for everyone. And if it's not there that first semester, then it will be there the next.
Thank you. We do have one question here. Would you consider the campus to be LGBTQ friendly?
Yes, of course. I love to say that we have a lot of great allies as well as a lot of great members of that community. We do have a club called Sarah, which is definitely, not Sarah, Saga, sorry about that. So it's definitely great for our students to kind of know where their resources are. And we also have a lot of great faculty and staff that do get a certification sometimes called Safe Haven. So it does give our students an opportunity to know that they have allies even outside of the student body. And also we do celebrate Pride Day as well as Pride Month.
We have another question, which I'm happy to kind of hop in on too. But before I answer that, those of you that are on the call, would you mind chatting and letting us know what you're interested in majoring in? We'd love to hear some of your academic interests. Even if you're not sure, that's totally fine too. And then maybe anything that is maybe most important to you when you think about the college search process. Maybe that's financial, maybe that's your academic program, location. We'd love to learn a little bit more about you as well. One question we have though is, what does your GPA have to be to get into Hollins? And so this is a great question, but also a difficult one to answer if I'm being honest. We know that every school calculates their GPA different. Each state kind of does that differently. And so when we're reviewing a transcript in an application, we look at you as a person and we look at you as a whole. So you're not just a number, so not just a GPA, although of course academics is important. We want you to be successful here at Hollins, and we know the academic rigor, and again, it's important. So when we're looking at a transcript, we certainly like to see mostly A's and B's. Doesn't mean that there couldn't be classes, maybe you really hate math, and that's not where you do the best. And we totally understand that. Maybe there was a hiccup sophomore year, maybe something happened at home. Again, we look at you as a whole, and we certainly want to learn more about you and things like that. And so we also know what types of classes are offered at your school. So maybe your school offers dual enrollment courses or AP or honors. That doesn't mean you have to take a full list of those. But if you really love a certain class or things like that, we like to see that you're challenging yourself. But again, it's a great opportunity. You know, when I think about GPA, our average GPA of our incoming classes last year was about a 3.6. We do look at weighted GPA, but again, we have students from all different you know, ranges there. So that's a difficult question to ask, but also a good one. Okay, so some other things I see here: criminal justice interest, psychology. And so again, when you are looking at our majors on Hollins, you're going to find, I think Danielle mentioned, you know, 29, 30, lots of different options. And the great piece about a liberal arts education is that you do have the opportunity to not just take one major and have that one focus, but if you have other passions and things that you're really involved in, it's pretty common that students will double major or pick up a concentration or minor. Actually, about 50% of our students double major, so that's pretty cool. Danielle, we do have another question on here. Are the students in school still, or are they doing virtual?
So what was great about Hollins is because we are a smaller institution, we're able to kind of have a lot more precautions. So we did give our students the option on whether or not to stay home and have the full opportunity to be virtual or to be on campus and kind of we have what is called a culture of care. So we really make sure that our students, if they're feeling sick, they don't come into class. And we also have hybrid classes right now. So there are students that are allowed to be online but still on campus. And so it just really depends, but we're really excited that we're still open and that we're able to see all of our students again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So what countries are included in your study abroad programs?
Yeah, so we have so many and they're all great. I definitely did one of them. It's London. I'm kind of biased. It was probably one of the best ones, but we do have Paris as well as Germany, Spain. We have a lot of different ones in Spain. We also have some in South America. We also have the Japan program is actually really popular in the coming years. So we definitely have about 20 different countries that we have programs and affiliate programs with.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll find on our website, there is a page specifically for study abroad. And so you'll also get to see maybe the focus of where in each country, kind of what they're looking at. So like our field of studies has everything from, you know, Australia to Peru to Turks and Caicos, which who doesn't want to be in the Caribbean? So fun stuff like that. So definitely check out the website there too. And if you have a specific place that you're wanting to go or a question about any of those programs, definitely let us know. We can get a little more detailed as well. Due to COVID, are we able to stay on campus, and will we be staying with someone in the dorm? So I'll answer a little bit. So if you're asking as a visitor, so as a prospective student, we actually normally do allow students to come to campus and visit and stay overnight. But of course, right now with everything going on, that's not an option. We don't know what the spring will hold, and obviously it's kind of a day-by-day sort of deal. And so we're hoping that at some point we will certainly be able to offer that again. But the students that are actually living here and on campus that are current students, there are, like Danielle said, many of those students are living on campus. Some of them do have roommates as well. And so again, that's certainly you know, currently happening. But again, I'm not sure if you're asking as a prospective student though. Here's another question for you, Danielle. It was mentioned that Hollins was originally a creative writing school, but is no longer a top major. Is the creative writing program or the department still strong?
Yes, of course. So what usually happens, you know, on institutions, you know, you start having more opportunities to have disciplines that can also be strong. So we still have amazing creative writers, and we also have an opportunity for students to either major in English and have a concentration in creative writing, or even just major in creative writing with other different subsets with that. So what happened is we did see a large influx, like maybe 5 years ago, of students that were really interested in STEM. So we have a lot of great opportunities for our STEM students as well. So even though we're historically more an English-based university, like Madeline was saying, even with the study abroad opportunities, we do have field studies that if students are interested more in animals or interested more in conservation, we do give a lot of resources, as well as we have great lab spaces on campus so our students can do individual research.
Yeah, and I do think it's kind of confusing because we've always talked about our creative writing program, and ironically, I think it was like 2018 that it actually became a major. So prior, it was the English major with the creative writing concentration, but now students have the ability to actually major in that, and so we definitely haven't seen a decline in that interest. It's still, again, one of the most popular majors, and definitely renowned and well known, and so it is kind of confusing though when we look back on that. So. Do we have sororities?
So no, we don't, but we do have a lot of great opportunities for clubs, as well as we have something special called specialty housing. So this is kind of great for our students because if you're interested in community service per se, or you want to be in a common space where you only speak Spanish or you only speak French, there are great opportunities to kind of be leadership roles and also still have close-knit communities even on a smaller university campus.
Okay, I think we're caught up in the chat box. Let me know if there's any other questions. There was something I was thinking about as we were talking about study abroad. I know that many of you have an interest in studying abroad. We hear that a lot from students. And one of the great pieces about our abroad program is that your financial aid actually follows you. So when I say that, whatever you're paying to be here in Roanoke, Virginia, to be going to Hollins, that amount and all your scholarships will follow you to all of our affiliate programs and our own Hollins programs. The only additional cost is the cost of your flight and some spending money. And so we actually even offer scholarships to cover all of that. So some of our students are abroad for an entire semester and they're not paying anything anything in addition to what they would be paying if they were here at Hollins. I think that's a big reason a lot of our students take advantage of that opportunity here at Hollins. And again, I think it's about, it's over 50% of our students will do that, almost about 60%. So again, we hear that a lot with students and kind of their interest there. Let me see if there's any other questions.
And also just kind of to add on what Madeline was saying, is something that we have great with our early decision applicants right now is that we do give some scholarship that they can take advantage of once they decide to study abroad. Like Madeline was saying, this could be really helpful for a plane ticket as well as some spending money, which is very rare for a student to pay out of pocket when they study abroad. My parents were definitely happy to put me on my plane to go to London because there's no extra cost.
Wonderful. Well, let us know. Feel free to chat us if there's any other questions or anything that you'd like to hear more about. If it's specific about your academic interest or Hollins or even the Roanoke area. I know many of you maybe have never been through Roanoke or in Roanoke, so we're happy to answer any of those questions. Oh, could you go more into detail about the freshman scholarship guarantee?
Yes, of course. So kind of what's nice about the figure that I shared with you is that's kind of the base level. So when looking back at that kind of map that I was showing you in regards to merit aid and scholarships and financial aid. So with those merit aid scholarships, that's where you're looking at for that 24K. So what's nice is once you get further up, if you're in kind of our top 10% of our applicant pool, you are invited to actually not compete, interview for our full tuition scholarship, which is our Batten scholarship. So it's really nice. And there's also some easy scholarships, I would say, that you can get as early as today, or if you want to schedule it, you can schedule a visit that can give you $500 towards your financial aid package, as well as FAFSA is opening up next week on the 1st. So the quicker you do that, we will also give you a filing grant for completing that as well.
I see a question here. I'm not sure I 100% understand, but if I'm thinking the right way, it says, what is the best and worst part? like pros and cons of Hollins? I'm assuming that you're just asking in general. If not, please clarify. But this is a tricky question. I'm curious to hear what Danielle has to say.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty unique way of answering it, so I'll try. So definitely, obviously, all universities aren't perfect, but I feel like Hollins, not trying to sound cheesy, is pretty close. I wouldn't still be working here if I didn't think so. So I think the pros of Hollins is it's really open for the kind of student that kind of wants to be more experience-based as well as really like honing in on their craft, which is their major, or even activities. So there's just a lot of great opportunities to kind of be your best self. Actually, Madeline was my admission counselor, so I feel like I'm sure Madeline remembers 18-year-old Danielle, and I've definitely, hopefully grown since then. So Hollins definitely fosters your best self. I guess cons, I'm gonna say it's a new con, is probably COVID right now, because we usually have such a vibrant campus, and so there's just always a lot of love and support on our campus. So it's kind of hard that, you know, with social distancing, which we still adhere to, I'm not saying we don't do that, but it's definitely hard to kind of have a different relationship with our students this year. It's really hard because I know that they're also struggling, but we're definitely trying to give them a lot of resources to kind of help them through and finish strong.
Yes, and if I were to answer that, I definitely, when I think about pros and the advantages and a reason I've actually been here for 8 years and got my graduate degree from Hollins. And so for me, it's the community for sure. And that's what keeps me around. It's the people. We are a close-knit community. I love that I know people when I walk around campus, we really are, I mean, just as we treat you all like people when you apply and you're not just a number, we feel that way as staff members, we feel that way as students. And that was huge for me. I love that kind of sense of community. I jokingly, when we talk about cons, the parking is one thing we like to talk about. Although it's really not that bad. I think we're just really spoiled because some schools you actually have to take a bus to get to classes, and we can walk most everywhere. But yes, as Danielle said, even with COVID, I almost think we have an advantage because of our size. We are, you know, really, I mean, again, when we think about this fall, so our students came back, I guess about not quite a full month, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And every student had to be tested prior to coming. All our faculty and staff, like we were all tested as well. And the great thing there is our students really care about each other. And so they're abiding to these rules. So, I mean, they just are really meaningful in this whole process. And it's been amazing to watch. And like Danielle said, it's really tough because we are such a close-knit community. There's been traditions that we've had that look so much different than what we're used to, and things that we just love as a group and as a community that we do together that doesn't look the same. But at the same time, I think we're one of the lucky schools that we're able to still have in-class, instruction. We're able to have students living on campus because of the care that they have for one another. So we've been really lucky, and knock on wood, that our numbers for COVID have been extremely low. Almost nothing. So again, although a little bit of a disadvantage, it's also an advantage at the same time. So good questions. You guys are asking great questions. Making sure there's no new ones. Okay, I don't see anything else in there. We'll still stick around. If there's questions that come up, feel free to pop them in. Again, you guys have had some great questions.
Yeah, and of course, I was kind of looking at some of them. I did see a student that was interested in kind of, political science and international relations. That's actually what I majored in, and I feel kind of my trajectory at Hollins was really nice because I did start as a pre-med student, but like I was talking about with that 95% graduation rate, I was still able to, even 2 years into my other program, still graduate and finish strong. And so in that major, that's why I went to London. There's a lot of great government classes, and I did a New York City internship my senior year. So there's definitely a lot you can do in that kind of major.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to hop off, Danielle. You're welcome to stay just in case there's other questions, but it was so great chatting with you all. I wish you the absolute best, whatever year you're in, but I hope the classes and everything's going well, and we hope to talk more with you here at Hollins.
Thanks, everyone. So are there any particular places that you all think that you would want to study abroad to? What's really popular for students is definitely, like I said, London. And also if students are interested in being a vet, we do have a really strong program in Ireland, as well as in Africa and Tanzania with like safari animals. So it's definitely a lot of great opportunities to kind of do things that you're interested, but also really travel to really amazing places. And also, I was originally from North Carolina. Sorry, I didn't bring that up. So it was definitely, I'm from the Fayetteville area. So it was definitely 4 hours for me. So I always call that the comfortable distance. So I was able to still have my own kind of life at Hollins, but still, if I needed my parents, they were definitely able to come get me if I needed them. So it was really nice, and it's a really pretty drive. We're also getting into fall, so it's super duper pretty. I think we have another question. Oh, you're also from Fayetteville. Cool. I always have to say I'm from Fayetteville. I'm kind of in the Sampson County area, but I grew up near Cape Fear High School. So that's actually kind of where I'm from. So definitely anybody who is in North Carolina right now, thank you so much for coming. I know that it's definitely a leap of faith to kind of look at an out-of-state school that is private, because there are a lot of great schools in North Carolina, but it's definitely something that you can definitely take advantage of. And actually, we do give a lot of scholarships, so it's definitely something to think about. Do you all have any general like college questions or anything that I can be of assistance to? I know that even though I do work at Holland, I'm very close to kind of my university background, as well as we're definitely also college counselors, so we're able to help in any sort of way. Oh, what if we're named a select scholar? So that's what we consider that as, is we kind of know that you've been doing a lot of hard work in your high school. So we kind of singled you out a little bit and offered you a free application. So it's definitely something that you should definitely take advantage of. And actually it will be noted in our system that you are a select scholar. So it's really nice once you get that application through, as well as having an opportunity to also visit, even though usually we would have really nice events happening around this time. But due to COVID, we can't have a lot of people on campus right now, but we do offer private visits. So if that's something you're interested in, we would definitely love to have you. More questions? Oh, you're coming to visit in November. That's so exciting. Definitely visiting in November. That's a really good decision. I think so. Obviously, being from Fayetteville, I'm sure you can definitely understand. It's really hot. You really don't have like the four seasons in North Carolina sometimes, depending on where you're from. But when I came to Roanoke, I really enjoyed the fall. So November is an amazing time to visit. We definitely have all the leaves changing, and also we have just a really like cute campus whenever it's fall. So it's definitely really pretty. We have a lot of trees. So it's just really nice to have that opportunity. Do you guys know if you're going to take advantage of the test optional option, or do you think that you would kind of wanting to send your scores in if you have any? We have another question. Oh, about the SAT scores. Yeah. If one does send in their scores in, what are the SAT and ACT scores Hollins prefers? So we don't actually have a preference. What's nice is we do accept both. So what we kind of look at is even as Madeline was saying, we are a holistic review process. So if you do include your scores, we are looking at everything on your application. So we're looking at your GPA. We're also looking at kind of what you're involved in. I know that I always look to see if a student has a job, because I know that's a lot of different responsibilities you'd have to have in high school as well as in college. So we're really just looking at those type of students that would definitely thrive at Hollins. So we do have a pre-nursing track at Holland, so we don't have a nursing program. But what's nice with our nursing track is we do have two options. So for our students, they can either complete their 4 years, and we have a nursing program close by. And so they kind of see that a Holland student is applying, and so that's able to our students to kind of finish it out there. And also we have a program that allows you to do your regular undergrad in 3 years, and then your last year is in nursing. It's your nursing year. Well, do you all have any other questions that I may offer to ask or anything like that? Definitely, I think I kind of went through all of the things that I did at Hollins. I will say that it was definitely a great experience to kind of go somewhere out of state. And also, I'll keep saying that because there's just a lot of great opportunities that when you kind of leave kind of your hometown and have that opportunity to kind of grow in a different place where maybe not a few people know you, but you can still make really great friendships. Our Hollins alumni love Hollins and love each other. So it's really nice if you ever meet a Hollins alum. They'll rant and rave about their experiences there. So it's definitely something that you're able to really take advantage of. So do you guys feel like you're applying to multiple schools, or do you feel like you're kind of having a top five? Really, there's no wrong or right way. So that's what's really nice is you're able to kind of really frame your kind of college experience. And also it's really great to kind of know your options and kind of what applications are free. So we are free. So even if you're unsure about Hollins, it's definitely still a good experience to kind of throw your application out there and kind of see what kind of scholarships we can give you. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and helping with us. I really appreciated this 45 minutes. I'm so sorry I talked so fast, but definitely thank you guys for coming and joining us.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a really quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org, CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at CACRAO.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you.